How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm just getting my day started here. Did a little bit more wild camping last night. That's really all I've been doing lately. And I'm trying to find a new place to go to park in the city. I've been having a lot of fun sort of exploring around Calgary a little bit. Nothing crazy. Let's everybody just calm down. But it's sort of fun to just go on to like Google Maps or Apple Maps and just sort of poke around and see where there's like big areas and parking lots and whatnot. It could either be a paved parking lot or a gravel parking lot or something near parks that I haven't gone to a lot. I've been having a lot of fun going to new places, and that's what I'm intending to do today. And I think I found something that has potential. Of course, the problem here with this is, depending on how outdated the map is, things may be different. Like you can go all the way to like different areas outside the outskirts of the city, and in all the development areas, you don't know how far along those things are. But when we're talking about areas in the city that have been there for a while, we should be pretty safe. And I've noticed that right here, just off Harvest Hills Boulevard, there looks to be this like gravel parking lot, right? You can see some cars were parked there when the satellites were spying on us. And it leads up to this place called the Beddington Golf Park, and there looks to be a paved sort of lot right there. Well, we don't want to go there, but hopefully, right in there will be a good place to park up for a while. Do a couple projects around the van today, have some food and that sort of stuff. You know, the whole city van life thing. And right down the street, right in, where was it? Oh no, how far away was it? Right here in Huntington Hills, there's a Real Canadian Stupid Store, or there. Stupid dropped pin, but that's going to be our first destination to go pick up some stuff for lunch. We got the big fat putty tat sprawled out on the floor already. You ready to rock and roll? The strong silent type. Oh, yes, van life in the city. All right, here we go. Of course, one of the reasons I don't go too far all over the city, especially this time in the morning, well, it's because rush hour is a real thing, and I don't know what kind of traffic we're going to hit. Let's find out. Come along, Grace. Tally freaking ho. Yeah, you gonna do it? You jump up into your spot? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Let's see it, let's see it. Come on, Penny. Come on, Penny. No? Not today? Is it too early in the morning? Oh, really? I think you could do it. Much longer, we're going to have to build you a little tiny ramp up to the dashboard, I guess, eh? That's the way you're going to behave. I see you eyeing it. What, is it because this stuff's in the way? Here, what if I move that? You need to, oh! Oh! Well, alright then. Speaking of places to park and whatnot, I used to come up here semi-frequently when I worked for the photography company, because there's a whole bunch of schools up here, obviously. and I would take Beddington Trail here, or whatever it is, and I would always see right here at this first set of lights, this little parking lot just off to the right, which is the direction I'm facing right now. And that was where I was initially thinking I would go today, but then I realized that it's a dog park. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, it might end up being a little stinky depending on which way the wind is blowing. But, oh no, wait a second. Maybe the dog park is a little further down. This says it's West Nose Creek Park. Yeah, all right, we could have gone in there. Never mind. Maybe the dog park is just part of the entire park. We'll figure that out. That's a future Matthew adventure. For now, we're going to stay focused, and I think we got to hit, I think it's Center Street to get to that superstore. Potatoes. All right, well, that down there with that little brown building, that looks like a golf park to me, like a driving range and stuff. So I guess it's Center Street to the left. It must be Harvest Hills to the right. All right. California lane change. Wahoo. Okay. Yeah, not as big as it looked on the map, but that right there definitely looks like a gravel parking lot. Oi, big bump. We are going the wrong way. Superstory's back that way. So I wonder if we can just do... Oh, yeah, that guy's doing it. So we're going to do it too. We're going to pull a shitter, as they say. Pop a shitter? Ew. Both so... Yuck. Wait for traffic to die down so nobody smacks your Jeep Wrangler. Quality content. Quality content. And we're off. Yeah, I am not familiar with this area at all, and a very brief glance at the map this morning did not educate me on the area well enough. I thought I could come straight back across, but that forced me back onto Beddington. Now I'm in some neighborhood, driving around, just looking for a superstore. Hello? We'll get there. They couldn't possibly be hiding it that well. Well, all roads lead somewhere. This is what I want. This is Center Street North. Excellent. A nice little jaunt down here to the left, and we should be right there. But I double-checked the map, and I see what screwed me up. There is a, yeah, like on the map, it looks like the road goes right through, and you can come onto it. But when in reality, when you're down there, yeah, it's a transit-only gateway through. So that stinks. Oh, drop in pickleball every weekday, score! Aha! Hark! There she be. Now, do we turn here? Yeah, let's turn here so we're not behind this biker and their small child. All right. And your left. Real Canadian stupid store. One I have never been to. That's exciting. Way cooler than pickleball. And we're just gonna do one of these, bring her around, and straighten out the whole rig. There we go. And Lucky was doing her best to tell me that she still has too much shit in her. And she threw a fit and ejected this entire drawer out of our system when we came around a corner. Yeah, I know. Good thing you were in the line of fire. All right, I got the message, Lucky. We'll tidy you up and purge just a little bit. Still chilly out. Grab your flannel. Oh. That is one big pile of shit. Okay. Move our curtains over a bit so they're not in our face. 10-second tidy, Penny. Here we go. This is the culprit for sure. Don't put a thing of sockets in a drawer that has no latch. Rookie mistake. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of microwave cooking lately. I was thinking the other day, well, yesterday, let's go back to the air fryer for today, shall we? And I found something. Oh, I didn't commit it to memory which page it was on. It's like, oh, it's got to be in here. No. Anyway, it's in here. I just got to find it. Yeah, it's just like a side dish or something like that. Wait a second. Where did it say? Yeah, it says sides at the bottom. Appetizers and snacks, breakfast. So just something simple. It's not like it's a full meal or anything, but it looks simple enough. Like most of these things in this air fryer for one book are. Aha, there they are. All right, so we need a right. Well, avocado oil should be fine. We've got coarse salt. We've got black pepper. We're gonna need some Dijon mustard and some. Oh, that'll be fun. All right, into Superstore.
Earlier, Missy Moo.
I'll be right back. Forget your grocery bag. Hello, he's still there. Good girl. Incognito. All right, nice and simple. 3 ingredients is all we need compared to what we have on hand, and that'll round everything out. Regrettably, the book does say fresh Parmesan cheese with a little blurb that reads, "It's easy to grab the pre-grated Parmesan cheese." Yep. But this is one ingredient where the convenience is not worth it. That's why I read this before I went in. Buy a wedge of real Parmesan or Romano cheese and grate it fresh on the small side of the grater. You'll experience so much more flavor. Well, that may very well be, but I have a feeling that the person who wrote this book didn't buy their brick from Superstore for $14. We say nay. This was like $5, and it's a nice little container. Don't have to worry about it. No muss, no fuss. 'Tis what it is. Kobe! Now that I've seen both of those places, the one that we looked at on the map and the one that I was thinking about, I think I'm going to go back to that other one. As not the gravel parking lot. It just didn't seem as. And I was like, since we're up here, that other one just looked a little bit nicer. Won't know for sure how much space it has for the whole rig till we get in there, but there's only one way to find out. There you go, Penny. Oh, there's a lot more people here than there was when we first drove by. Maybe we go over this way. Ooh. This is a very small parking lot, that is for darn sure. No, now that I'm here, dog park is in fact right over there. Lots of people already here with their dogs. And the parking lot is very small in comparison to the Sue Higgins dog park that I'm more familiar with. We're not going to be the guy that takes up all that space with our giant rig in this small of a parking lot. So we will go back to that gravel parking lot. Welcome to the brain of an overthinker. Although I don't know if there's going to be garbages when we're down there, so I'm going to stop here quickly and we're going to get rid of some trash. There we go, bud. Whoop. And drop our paper towel out the door. Ah, van life. All right. All right, Penny, we are now free and clear of our garbage. Off we go. Yeah, this is a little bit more my speed. Way more open, not as many people here. It's the same park, it's just another entrance to this dog park area. And yes, there are garbages here, so the more you know. But anyway, let's get hunkered down in the van right now. It's still quite chilly out right now, but I did want to talk about a couple things here that I received in the mail. So let's get back into the good ship Lucky, where it's nice and warm with the diesel heater, and we'll chat about it. Misleadingly cold out today. There we go. What a view. So anyways, well, that's, speaking of views, that was a terrible camera angle. It's also not the best lighting, but it is what it is at this point. Anyway, a little while ago, there was a video that I put out with Amber and myself where I was talking about the lead time batteries that I use to power my tiny home on wheels, right? And I love the company, I love the products. They're definitely on the more affordable end when it comes to LifePo4 batteries. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you've heard me gush over them. I think they are a very good option if you are looking to build a van or a trailer or a truck or whatever, and use lithium 12-volt batteries. So they reached out to me after that video went live, and they were very appreciative of the content that I had created around that battery, and they sent me a little care package, as well as asked me if there was any other products that I would be interested in potentially talking about on my channel. And since I'm not, I don't usually do stuff like that. I mean, obviously I do it, but I think by and large, with the amount of content that I put out, it's a pretty safe bet that I don't talk about a lot of things that costs money. But I mean, I talk about a lot of things that I like, and this falls into that category. So I did say that I would be interested in a battery monitor, because they just recently came out with their own version. So they did send me that. So we're going to take a peek at that later and hopefully get it hooked into the good ship Lucky and mounted and all that stuff. We'll see where the day takes us. But also in this little gift box of like thank yous they sent me, which was kind of cool. I just wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. They sent me 2 t-shirts, which I've already given Amber one. Unfortunately, the biggest that they make is extra large. They asked me what size I was. I'm like, well, 2X, but 3X preferably. And they're like, we only make them up to extra large. You fat ass. They didn't say that. But they sent me 2 shirts, which are really nice. Like I said, they don't fit. They're a little snug on me, but those are cool. They also sent me a Lee Time Life and Discover hat. Right, so like I need another hat, but this is pretty cool, and it's a little adjustable back, not a snap back, which I thought was cool. You'll do this without messing up the audio too much, right? Represent. If I could put this on with the t-shirts, and then wear my Lee Time backpack that they sent me, and this thing is actually really cool. Here, hang on, just for the sake of this segment, we'll take the mic, we'll put it on the Lee Time hat. This backpack's super cool. It's just like it's a little pouch, little foldable up backpack, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really cheap and chintzy, and I was quite surprised with just how big it gets, right? You unfold it, bada bing, bada boom, and it's like a full friggin' backpack, right? It's got, well, 3 sections. Your main zip pouch. I haven't even taken a deep dive into this thing. Inside the zip pouch is an extra little pocket, and then you've got a second outer pocket here, right? Second pocket, put more stuff in, and this little tiny middle zipper pocket on the front, right? And the straps just, oh, the back even has a pocket, so there's 4. And 2 pouches on the side for water bottles. So that was kind of cool. I'll definitely make use of this. I will actually probably make this mine and Brooklyn's like swimming pool bag, because I've been using that drawstring bag. I think it's like an Under Armour bag. I don't even know where it is right now. It's in the back. Fine, but once you start getting stuff in there, especially like our pool shoes and stuff, our Crocs, it gets a little bulky. So this is actually really nice because the material is the same kind of like get me wet material, and it'll dry and not cause any damage. So that was cool. Let me see how hard it is for me to... Oh, the pouch that it folds into becomes a pocket. That makes sense. Fold it all back up. How hard is it to do? I know it's not that hard because I already did it once. There you go. And that is done. That's pretty cool. And no muss, no fuss. This, just like my nomadic jacket, are great for van life. I don't know if you can buy this stuff off their website. Potentially. I'm not sure. These are cool. They also sent me insulated gloves for all like working on, I mean, well, for whatever. But when you're doing wiring and stuff, I wonder if these are going to fit my hands. Let's see if my digits fit in here. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can see myself using these when I'm doing wiring and whatnot, once I decide to add more batteries and stuff and future builds. So that's cool. Maximum 400 volts. Would these have protected Tim on the electric fence? There were a couple more things in here. Like, it's just crazy. It sent me a bunch of magnets for your refrigerator. Like, and yeah, they've been pushing a lot of trolling motors. That's another thing that these batteries are good for your boat, if you so were feeling so inclined. Oh yeah, this one I was curious about. I didn't open this up. The label just says arm sleeves. I don't know. Let's see. Like, they're just sleeves for my arm? Yep. Well, obviously. How does this work? This is the bigger hole. Let's start with the bigger hole. Just, there you go, bud. Look at me with my removable sleeves. That's actually kind of cool. I don't know how often I would use something like this, but like for winter living or like, you know, wherever, it's kind of cool. And you go inside and you're like, I'm sweaty, which I get often. You just pull off your sleeve. That's kind of funky. They also sent me some stickers. Very obvious. Very cool. And they sent me this little camp light. So I now officially have camping lights coming out of my wazoo. I haven't tried to turn this on yet. It works. That's always good. Oh, it's even got the help function. Should have used that to light me up this entire time. Anyway, huge thank you to Lead Time for the very kind gifts. I greatly appreciate it. It is a company I believe in. It is a product that has worked very well for me. And like I said, stick around. I'm probably going to try to attack Lucky, blow some holes in her, and get a battery monitor mounted up. You know, coming to new areas in the city, it really reminds me of what I was feeling like way back in 2009 when I was really feeling heartbroken, put down, walked all over, destroyed, and just utterly, you know, not myself. I had gone through a pretty serious breakup with Jenna at the time, and it was not an easy breakup. It was probably one of the messiest ones I had ever lived through. And I remember feeling emotions I had never felt before, right? I was a guy who wore his heart on his sleeve, and I really let those sorts of situations get the better of me, you know, on almost every level. And if you haven't, it's not something you haven't gone through. If it's something you haven't gone through, I should say, you won't really understand it. And it's not the easiest thing to explain, but ultimately for me, I just wanted it out. I wanted an escape. I wanted away from everything that was familiar, anything that reminded me of her, which at that time literally was the very city I was living in. I think I had traveled all over the city the most with her while we were dating. And when we broke up, there was just so many things that reminded me of her, right, in my immediate vicinity. And I remember very distinctly my older sister and brother coming down to assist me, because I had been living with her at the time, and we had to separate our things, and we also had the two cats. Back then I had Billy and I had Stella. And I was staring down the barrel of going back to live with my parents, because at the time there was no other option really. I couldn't afford a place on my own. I guess some things never change. And they had cats, and we didn't want to ruffle the quote-unquote feathers of their felines. So I didn't really know what to do with my animals, but both my older brother and my older sister came down, and they offered up refuge for my kitty cats. My sister took Stella, my brother took Billy. And while they were down there, obviously they hung out with me for a while and supported me and talked with me about what I was going through. And I remember my brother telling me if I ever felt like I couldn't deal with it, you know, life, to just point my vehicle north towards the great city of Edmonton, and there would always be a place for me to stay up there. And I guess I must have been feeling, I mean, down in the dumps doesn't even cover it, right? But I was very emotional. I was very distraught, thinking that this was probably the end of my life, which is a huge overreaction, to be sure. But back then, young Matthew didn't really know any better, and when offered up that opportunity, it did not take me long to seize it. I think within a few days, I had as much stuff as I could packed into my van at the time. I had a 1998 Astro van that my dad had sold to me, a year or so prior, and I hit the road. And even though it was my brother who told me there'd always be a place and to do that, it was my sister, my older sister, who took me in. And this was such a turning point in my life. I guess, I mean, at the time I didn't know it. I was too hyper-focused on my heartbreak and everything I was going through. But it really was a turning point in my life that also helped create the person that I am today. Everything I experienced during that journey up there, because I ended up living up there for 4 years. But for the first year, my sister just opened her doors to me, right? I was allowed to move in with her, my brother-in-law, my niece, my nephew, who were babies at the time, and of course, Stella was there. And I was in this whole new world, in a room in their basement, trying to figure out my life. Ended up going and working at the bar that my older brother owned. But it's just incredible that my sister just, without hesitation, absolutely, no question, that's just complete love. Just come live with us, and no stipulations. I could have probably gone up there and been a bum on the couch, and that would have been accepted by my sister. Now, of course, that's not what happened. I wanted to get on with my life. I wanted to get over the emotions I was feeling, and the opportunity granted to me from my older sister with room and board is something that I will always be very appreciative of. Without that opportunity, I don't really know the direction my life would have taken. I would have gotten over it eventually, for sure, but I probably would have been in the same rut that I was feeling like I was in when I was still living in Calgary before I moved up there and started this new chapter in my life. And it was all thanks to, the love and support from my older siblings that I was able to do that. And I ended up living with my sister probably, like I said, for about a year. They even moved. They ended up buying a new house and ended up helping them move in the winter. I feel like it was close to Christmas. They moved into a new house. There was even a spot for me there, and my sister would just talk ad nauseum about, well, Matthew needs a room. He needs to have a room, whatever we buy, which is just so extremely flattering and humbling, to have. I don't think I felt that at the time. I didn't feel like I was taking it for granted, or I definitely didn't feel like it was owed to me, but I sure didn't feel like I had the amount of appreciation in the moment as I do now, because again, I was a very selfish. I shouldn't say I was a very selfish person, but when you're feeling that way, when you're feeling heartbroken, like you've been betrayed and yada, 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 it's very easy to make everything you think of about yourself, right? So I know I wasn't being, ungrateful or anything for the situation. I just don't know that I was appreciating it enough myself. I had no problems helping around the house. I also feel like I helped in the tiniest way, helped raise my niece and my nephew a little bit. And man, there was a lot of stuff we went through the ringer on there, but it was such an incredible time, and without that opportunity from my older sister, I don't know. Things definitely would have worked out differently, and I am very, very thankful of it. And now it's like when I think back on that and how much I wanted to escape Calgary, I was blaming Calgary for reminding me of my heartbreak and this, that, and the other thing. Now I'm here in my life, and it's 2025, and so much has happened and so much has transpired since then. It does seem a little silly looking back on it. At least it's still, my reasons are silly, because this city it's awesome. It's a huge freaking city for sure. But I don't know. I love it here. Probably has a lot to do with how much of my heart is in this city for sure. But I also find it interesting that doing stuff like this will consistently remind me of those moments from my past. It's pretty cool. It's finally starting to warm up. That chill is gone. It's so nice. And now I'm going to scroll myself back into the van. But I do want to talk about this, which is the battery monitor that Lead Time sent me, right? So it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Battery monitor, it will tell you how much charge you have in your 12-volt batteries. But it's never as simple as just hooking these things up, right? You got to do it's a little bit of a thing. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to get it super accurate today. I don't, simply because the best way to do this once you get those battery monitors installed is to charge your batteries up, tippy top, and then set the battery monitor to 100%. And then it can kind of tell, well, how much is being used, how much is left, blah, 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 based on the settings that you set. But my battery definitely isn't fully topped up, and it never will be as long as you have systems going. So we'll turn off the fan. We will also turn off the diesel heater, because like I said, it's getting warmer. And then we will have a bit of a draw coming from the house lights, of course, but that's pretty minimal. One thing we could do is once I get it set up and we leave here and drive back down to the south of the city, Lucky will charge, like the alternator charging system will charge the house batteries. And that's a great way to tell once your house batteries are topped up, because I can use the app to see how much voltage or wattage is going from the engine bay into the house batteries. And if it drops down to really low, like under 100 watts, because it usually charges between 500 and 600 watts, then you know your system is full. And both batteries, both your engine bay battery and your house batteries, will be right around 14.4 volts. That's what I've noticed anyway. I am definitely getting ahead of myself, for sure. I also should have ran the heater on high for a few minutes. Paranoia getting the better of me, but whatever. Let's get back on track here and take a look at the Lead Time battery monitor. Okay, so in the box, if you get this yourself, this is what you can expect to find. You get your little manual here, very self-explanatory. You've got the monitor itself, right? You've also got a shunt, and this is where things get just a little bit more complicated. It's not as simple as plug and play. You'll also get a very long run of wire that goes from the shunt to the back of the monitor. It'll get plugged in right there. And then you also get, oh, that's cool, they include a little tiny screwdriver. That's nice of them. So you get that. Then you also get this power cable, which will give power to the monitor screen. And you get a little set of mounting screws. So how does this guy actually, oh, this guy doesn't mount up like that. Oh, dang. So what the hell is this? Oh, this is for the shunt. All right, so these screws are to mount the shunt. Now, my situation's a little unique. And what I mean by that is that I've actually had battery monitors in my van before. I had the Renogy battery monitor forever in Lucky 1.0. So I've already had it installed and everything. Then when it came time to Lucky 2.0, I ended up actually screwing the whole monitor system up. The wiring got cut or something like that. And I did have a very generous subscriber send me a new wire off of my Amazon wish list. Unfortunately, I done messed up and it was the wrong wire. So I ended up paying that product forward. And I just simply haven't had a battery monitor since then. So the reason I say that it makes my situation unique is that there's already a shunt in Lucky's system, like mounted to the floor, under the bed with everything else. I'm not 100% sure if the plug is the same. We're going to find out pretty quick when we get in there. But essentially what you need to do when you're connecting this is the battery monitor runs off of the negative connection of your entire system. So I'll talk about it again when we get in there and sort of point it out. But ultimately what happens is this just needs to go in betwixt your loads and your battery. So if you've got a battery with a positive and a negative on it, your positive wire comes out and goes wherever. Your negative wire will come from your battery to one side of the shunt, and then all of your other negative loads go to the other side of the shunt. In my situation, that's just a single wire running out to my negative bus bar, and then all of the negatives come out of there. It's the same thing, right? This just needs to be somewhere in line of your negative connections, and you should get a fairly accurate reading. Okay, and now, as always with stuff like this, I got to get underneath my bed, and of course, I just moved my EcoFlow power station up onto the bed yesterday so that I could walk from the back of the van to the driver's seat. It's a little heavy, it can't sit here, so we'll unplug all of our electronics here, and we're just going to try to wiggle this far enough back so that it doesn't interfere with the electrical box once I open it, like this. Move your pegboard basket and cable as well. Up we go. There we go. There, that should give us enough room to more pegboard stuff down. There we go. All right, let's take a peek in here. Before we do that, kick off your boots so you're not getting schmutz into your bloody tiny home on wheels. Okay. What the? I should have a motion light right there. I must have taken it out and put it somewhere. I don't see it laying around anywhere, so that's unfortunate. Hey, there's my baby wipes. I was looking for those earlier. Chabastards. Okay, let's get over there. What we're going to do, we will steal the motion light from Penny's poop apartment, throw it up there just to illuminate this area a little bit better. And there, you can see right down here is my shunt. So I haven't looked in here in a while, but I think it's all, yeah, it's all still connected. So you'll see this side, right, we got B minus, right? That's battery negative. So this wire runs from the shunt all the way up here to the negative on my batteries, which is way over there. And as I mentioned, then the other side is just this little short loop wire right here. This little guy where my finger is, that comes from the power negative side, goes out and powers my bus bar. So now what we need to figure out, oh, and then this red wire right here. This is our power wire. This is what would give power just to the monitor, and I have it running over here to my positive. You can get that 12-volt source from wherever. That's where I get mine from. So now I'm hoping that we can just plug that new cable from the lead time monitor into this and then into the back of the monitor. And if it works, then it's way less work for me. And that would just be great. But like I said, I had issues with a cable in the past, so I don't know if it's going to work out. These are two different companies, right? Let's see. Get the shielded wire out. There we go. They give you lots of wire too, so that you can run your monitor and mount it wherever you bloody want in your tiny home, or RV for that matter. For me though, what I'm thinking, if once we get this all set up, my first thought was, oh, I'll just put it like here beside my inverter switch, right? But I've got plans for the good ship Lucky. Putting it there, let's just say, would be a disservice to my future self. So what I am thinking about doing is keeping the run real frickin' short and just putting the battery monitor like right here at the foot of the bed. The reason I was saying, oh, it doesn't have screws and whatnot to mount, because it doesn't have any like mounting points. Like if you look on the inverter switch, you can see those two screws on either side to mount it up. Well, this guy doesn't have that. He's just like these little clip tension things here. So I'd have to cut a hole the size of this back, and then you just kind of sit in there. So that's my intention, but let's see if we can get power to this guy first. So on the back of the monitor, we have this. So we'll just plug one end of our big shielded cable in here. Oh, make sure it's right. Don't break anything. All right, so that's plugged in. What's up, Penny? I hear ya. What's going on? Well, you can't help. You don't have opposable thumbs, but I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. Or you just put off because you can smell the dog shit. Could go either way. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if we're going to be doing a whole bunch more work later. So we come down here. Let's slot in. It does. Does it power up? It does not. Well, might not be screwed yet. Let's unplug this one more time. Yeah. And we could have an issue with our power line here. So I might take a little bit of a deeper dive there and see if maybe this red wire that runs to here is screwed up. So for those that would be really curious, so here's the thing, right? You've got your wires on this cable, right? You got red, black, yellow, green, right? And it only goes in one way because you got these little clasps up here at the top, right? So this is the one that came with the battery monitor in question, and it plugs in, get a boom, bada boom, right? Ha! So you do that, that's the only way I can plug in. You see that the red wire is on the right-hand side, and you'll notice that this little power box up here has two spots, two B pluses, where you can run that skinny power wire, right? Well, on the shunt that's in here, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it's over on the right-hand side. Get nice and close here, right? See, it's on the right-hand side, and if my red wire is going over here, maybe that means this red wire needs to be over there. I don't know, not a scientist, but let's see what we can do. All right, so I'm going to use that little tiny screwdriver that was included with the monitor, and we're going to undo this. The reason why I think this should be interchangeable is because the shunts themselves look very identical. And you gotta have to imagine that these companies that are a little bit more on the affordable end, I highly doubt they're manufacturing their own shunts, you know? Like, you'd think that they would just be outsourcing that to another company. And if that's the case, they'd probably end up with the same shunts, you know? But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I also can't get this tiny little screw undone, so there's that. Come on, you bugger. All right, I got the wire out. We're going to try something because the shunt where I've mounted it in there is at an awkward angle to put the wire back in. So I may have to dismount it. But what I want to do first is get this power wire onto our new shunt and see if the monitor turns on and see if my theory of the left and right on that little green connector is indeed correct. There's not an easy way to do this. So we're just going to, you know what? Before anything else, let's unplug this because I don't want a bunch of power. I mean, it's just a little connection to light the screen up more than anything. But let's see. I'm going to get this connected to this new shunt. Oh, no, wait a second. This won't work. I'm going to need a negative to close the circuit. I got the positive into the new shunt and got it plugged in. And I was like, wait a second. No, of course not. It's not going to turn on. There's no negative connection. I don't have a run of wire that I can just touch against the... Well, maybe. Hold on. This is how Vanlife Plus is going to burn down his tiny home on wheels. Okay, we got negative here, we got negative there. Sparky spark. Hey, it works! Okay, cool. So that's what the monitor will look like when you first give it power. But I still need to see if my theory's right. So maybe what we can do, before struggling with that shunt that's already in there, is I'm going to take the power out of this side and put it in the other one, just to rule it out. All right, so I got that little skinny power wire moved over to the next one. Let's plug in the monitor again. And let's give it some negative juice. See if it turns on. Hope this will rule out my issue. Damn it! Well, I think this tells me that I definitely need to have this new shunt installed in Lucky. No good. Ugh. It's actually not that bad. And where did the socket set go that caused the drawer to fly out earlier? Because that's what I'm going to need to do. It's actually just one screw I have mounted right there on the shunt. That's going to have to come out. That will dismount the shunt itself. And then we've got to take off both ends of my negative cable. I just don't know. I can't remember what size these nuts are. Actually, now that I'm seeing how big they are, I probably don't have a socket in this one that's big enough for them. That's the... Well, maybe. Can I get that on there, though? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Definitely too small. All right, well, that means there's a trip to Lucky's ass in my future. But I probably need a bigger Robertson anyway. This is going great. Oh, wow. Well, let's throw myself under the bus right now. This is not something you want to have in your system, and I'm surprised I haven't noticed any other negative effects lately. But if we look really closely on this side of my shunt, look at this. Who needs a socket when you can just do this? Yo! This wire, I noticed it doing this. Obviously, the connection is still nice and solid. I've got a flat washer in there, and it's pressed flat against this side of the shunt and whatnot, so that's probably why I haven't seen any issues. But that kind of loose connection in any battery system, it's a big, fat no-no. So we'll make sure that it's tight when we put it back in. The other side's nice and tight, so there's that. At least I did it 50% of the way. I know I want this. It's going to have my Robertson bits in it. And then if I open this up, yeah, you know what, since we're back here, come here, you bugger. Put the air fryer on your Jeep. Pull this. Hiya. And we're going to need a socket out of here. I just have no idea which one it is, so bring the whole damn thing. Actually, I bet you I have it in here, and this is a little bit more organized. Yeah, it's got to be one of these. Okay, let's bring this. And I'm just going to need a wrench for that. Grab the air fryer and open the door. Okay. Air fryer. Hey, there's the Under Armour bag. Nailed it. All right, so let's see what size socket I need. I'm assuming the nuts are going to be the same size on both of these. 18 seems a little... Ooh. 18 seemed good. Maybe 17 though? 17 is perfectly snug. So, snap on our 17. Put it on loosen. Okay, and then I need a Robertson from this guy. Did I bring a screwdriver in? Son of a bitch. All right, got the screwdriver from the Jeep. And let's get this screw out of here. Hiya. Loosey-goosey. So, in doing what we're about to do, we are going to lose all power to Good Ship Lucky's systems as soon as we disconnect that negative. There, that's a quality angle, quality angle. But I got the shunt loosened from the floor. And the best way to do this, actually, is going to be to undo the one nut that's tight, because then I'll have more slack to work with. Hiya! Shouldn't notice much by taking this off. The heater's not running, lights are off, fan's not running, and the fridge has a battery. So, just loosen that nut off. There we go. Remove the... There we go. Ha-ha! And then we've got our old shunt that we're going to remove. So these bolts, I'm assuming it's probably the same on the other one, they will come right out. I don't know how much you can see, but they will come right out of the shunt. So you're going to have to hold them in or mount this up before you reattach your big negative wires. But yeah, that's all we're doing. Just removing all this nonsense. The old shunt is out, and the new shunt, we're going to go back in. But now I want to make this as easy on myself as possible. I kind of want to get that new, I'm going to use that new power wire that it came with, because it's longer than the one that I currently have installed. So while I have this shunt out, let's just lay these negative wires down. Don't let them touch any positives. That's good. And while the shunt is out, we will attach our new power line. Here we go. Where's my baby screwdriver? There it is. We got the new power wire attached to our new shunt. We just got to loosen up the nuts. Everybody just calm down. So now we got those nice and loose. So those will be easier to work with once we get back inside the battery box here. Let's take this one all the way off. See, I must have lost my crush washers and stuff off of my old one. That wouldn't have made it not work, but in terms of like making sure it doesn't come loose, yeah, those are kind of necessary. All right, so we'll put those down here, and then we got to get that big wire, this bad boy, onto this side. That is our battery side. So then we will go flathead washer, crush washer, and a nut that we will make sure is nice and tight before we remount this bad boy. All right, now we attach the other side, and then we'll have to open up our positive bus bar and get the ring eyelet thingamajiggy on this end of the wire attached. It is hot and sweaty, but got the negative cable reattached. Does it work? Great success there. Now, quick drink of water, and then that little red power cable. Here we go. This one comes off simple. I've just got a couple Phillips screws holding the cover on. And then we will need another socket to actually remove the connection in here. And of course, I can never remember exactly what size they are, but here is where we have our current power wire that's no longer connected. So we just need to remove that from that connection there. And let's see what size these guys are. Hey, look at me guessing the right one the first time. What is that? 9/16. So I doubt that's actually right, but we're making it work. There we go. Loosen that bad boy up. There's that guy's off. Pull this out, and we got a washer as well. Take the washer off. Take the wire out. And then we've got our new wire that is currently connected to our monitor. Sparky boy? Nope. Excellent. We'll attach him. Put the nut back on. Gotta make sure these wires are lined up right, that they come outside the little doors on the cover. Really snug it down. Got our monitor, and let's make sure it is all systems go. There you go. So that is working. Now for the rest of this. Yeah. And the rest of it will be getting this little sucker mounted out here. Now I could make this super simple and just like drill a small hole big enough for the connector to go through, and then just use alien tape and do that. And that's kind of what I did in the first build of Lucky when I had my monitor up here on the side of the cupboard and whatnot. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now because this flip out table will then hit the monitor. I'm going to try to make this work with my Dremel, because we all know I've got enough Dremel wheels kicking around, and just trace this on there and then hit it with the Dremel and hope for the best. We're so professional. It's hot as balls in here. Out! Damn spot. Out! Oh, not chilly anymore.
I'm gonna eyeball this, and I don't give a crap when I'm gonna hit the thing. As long as I don't hit the 2x2 up there,
And what we find? Is it 2x2? Maybe it's a 1x1. I don't know. Let's do it. Like that. There, I'm just gonna do the 3 sides for now. Oh, I can't get the pen to hit the wall on this side. Yikes! Only me would hit my white shirt with Sharpie. Are you kidding me? Can't see it there. God! Hit it with a Tide to Go pen. I don't think that's gonna do shit. Anyway, moving right along. You can't make this stuff up. I was just swapping out to a new cut wheel on the Dremel, and look, the stupid mandrel or whatever the hell it's called, the screw, I don't even know where it went, snapped off inside the shaft. I don't like it when my mandrel snaps off in the shaft. I can't do squat now. Do I have anything else I can cut that with? I've still got the angle grinder. That seems a little excessive. Okay, well, let's find out where the closest bloody Home Depot is, huh? Where's my bloody... Home Depot. That's a ways in there. We might have to put a pin in this for now, make some lunch, and worry about this later, because I'm sitting at a dog park with nary a Dremel store in sight. Dijon Parmesan potatoes, in case you hadn't figured that out. That's very on the nose. Who came up with that name? So the book says, this recipe takes potatoes and transforms them into an easy, unique, and delicious side dish. Baby potatoes are sliced in half and dipped in Dijon mustard and freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Then stick them in your air fryer and voila, the perfect side dish. These pair well with the chicken cordon bleu in Chapter 5 or the ham steak in Chapter 6. We have done neither one of those. If you're using medium potatoes, you'll need to add 3 to 5 minutes to the cook time. Well, we're not. We're using baby gems, or whatever the hell they're called. So, why specifically red? Probably something to do with the flavor. Let's pop this bad boy open. Aha, we've got, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, and 5. That is barely a potato. Where's the bigger one? No offense, sir. All right, there we are. Now, if you're a wuss, you're going to want to wash these up. Otherwise, let's get to the cutting. First step, slice them all in half so we get 10 sliced potatoes. Get out your giant knife and slicey slice. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, this guy's a little bit on the heifer side. 4, 5. Yeah. All right, it then says something about laying them face down on a piece of parchment paper. I'm not going to worry about that. Just going to put them on the cutting board, and we will use our vinegar solution to clean cutting board after. And then it says drizzle them with oil. Well, I don't have liquidy olive oil, so we're just going to sort of nail that. And then some salt on top. And perhaps a little of the black pepper. I said what I said. Then you'll have something that looks like this. Haha! Right? That looks pretty darn tasty as is. However, now what we need to do is add the 2 key ingredients. And again, in the book, it says use separate bowls, but I live in a van, so we're going to use one bowl with a little bit of mustard on one side and then Parmesan on the other. And then you take the cut side and you dip in the mustard, you dip in the Parmesan, then you put them in the air fryer basket, cut side up, and it should be Bob's Your Bloody Uncle. For those that might be looking for the exact measurements, you need 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, or otherwise a pull like this, and 3 tablespoons of Parmesan. Can't be as dramatic with that because I did not prep, and the Parmesan is not open. It's also not freshly grated, so apparently I'm a savage, but also... yeah. Now, take your dirt nasty fingies, grab a potato, dip it into mustard, and then dip it into Parmesan. So you get something like that. It's not a lot. Come on, get it in there. Get it in ya. Son of a... You know what might be easier? Just sprinkle this on after. I think it also said something about being like really generous with the mustard. Maybe I wasn't generous enough. But how do you cut side up? How you can do cut side up on a potato? It's just gonna... Yeah, exactly. I guess that's as up as it needs to be. All right, let's try another one here. Get it absolutely saturated into Dijon. Get it into the Parmesan. That is working like hot garbage. So we're going to do my way. I'm going to put them in the air fryer basket, right? And then once we get as many in there as we can fit, we're just going to sprinkle the Parmesan on. Because this whole dipping method might work better if it was grated fresh Parmesan. Oh yeah, this works way better. Also, because we're using a mini air fryer, we cannot fit all of our patates in one go. So we're just going to do this. Yeah, top those potatoes up with the Parmesan. Good old welfare Parmesan. This bloody potato and its Parmesan hat are not cooperating. And this last one, excellent. And then, what does it say? 350 for 12 minutes. That's a lot of power. Alternatively, you could just whip Parmesan into Dijon mustard and eat it. That's pretty tasty too. Okay, get that bad boy in there. 12 minutes, go. Bake some potatoes in your air fryer outside your cargo van alongside dog park. Thank God the wind isn't blowing this way. Haha, there you go. Who needs parchment paper? That Allen family cutting board buffed right up with a little bit of the white stuff. That sounded way better in my head, and I don't know why that would have been. Here we go. I moved everything inside, cleaned up a little bit to stay ahead of the curve. Let's see how these little bad boys are looking. Ooh. All right, the proverbial cheese has slid off of my potato a bit. So maybe it'd behoove you to cut the tit off the round part of the potato so that they sit flush. But I digress. Let's give these bad boys a try once they cool down a little bit, because you can hear them sizzling still. The crispy bits look tasty AF. All right, let's see. I can already tell, me being me, I don't have any on hand, unfortunately, but I can tell already that sour cream would be divine to dip these little suckers in. Ooh, they're very crispy. You're supposed to, it said something about like sticking it with a fork to make sure it's cooked. Like, I don't know, it's a potato, right? I don't know. I don't do a lot of potato recipes, but let's see. Oh, that looks hot. Huh. Ooh. Mmm. They probably need to be cooked a little bit longer. I wouldn't say that potato is fully cooked yet. It's a little smushy, which that's pretty much all you need, right? As long as they're not rock solid. I mean, yeah, sour cream for sure. It's like the mustard prevents the cheese from sticking. Look at this. Like this one potato, this is its cheese. And it's like a brand new potato. Out of these two things, which one do you think I would rather put in my mouth right now? You're right. That's tasty AF. You're just a vessel for the deliciousness. Maybe a little bit longer. And definitely something to dip them in for sure. I see what they're going for here. I see what they're going for. I wouldn't say this is a huge win though. Ooh, this one looks a little bit better. They're hot as shit. Right, okay. Those are all right. Obvious areas for improvement for sure, but it's a nice little, I was going to say mid-afternoon snack. It's not even noon yet. Definitely not my favorite dish from that, but super simple. If it's something that you like and are creative enough, you could totally improve on that and make it probably pretty darn good. You know what would probably be better now that I'm really thinking about it? If you had you could do it in a small air fryer as well, but a bigger air fryer or even the oven. And instead of just chunks of potato, slice the potatoes. Make them like really thin potatoes, like, you know, like scallop potato size, and then drizzle some mustard and some Parmesan on them. So maybe just a little bit thicker, like not potato chip thin, obviously, you know, but like maybe like quarter of an inch or something like that. Because then you'd have this nice crispy whole, yeah. That's what I would do. It's a future Matthew problem, and not right now. Where is my water bottle? Very salty, very cheesy. Get it in you. Do you want a treat as well? You're sounding extra squawky up there right now. You want a treat? You want a treat? Let me see if I can get you one without you getting up and going stir crazy. You know, what? I'm not doing anything. Listen. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. I don't even know what you're talking about. What's this? Oh, what that? Can you smell it? You get it? Penny. Penny. Nice. Just my creepy eyeball over here. Wait. Calm down. Where are you going with it? I'm going to take this over to my bed and mow it. Aren't you going to want to just come right back for another one? With this. You got it? Good catch. Good girl. All right, should we go repair our Dremel? The glass half full way of looking at this whole situation, though, is that we now get to do a bunch of driving that will allow Lucky the opportunity to charge up those house batteries. So let's get our Brenergy app pulled up here so we can see just what she's doing. Where is it? There it is. There we go. It takes a couple seconds for this to all sort of kick into gear. Right now we're pulling solar down still, about 24 watts, so not a lot, kind of embarrassing. But after a few seconds of Lucky being on, this should, boop, spike right up. There we go. Boom, 289 watts. It'll probably continue to get higher as we drive. So let's go find that Home Depot way up in the north of Calgary. Ah, the good old orange store, always coming in clutch. Up here at Country Hills Home Depot, and I decided to upgrade the Dremel a little bit. Instead of farting around with that whole like little tiny screw method that got stuck, I decided to go with a mandrel that is the easy lock. So it comes with this little neck collar thing that you just pull down. You hold that down and you snap the wheels on and you let it go and your wheel is on. No muss, no fuss. And now we gotta, what the heck? Get it in like this. Oh, and then turn it. And then let it go. There you go. You make sure it's on there proper before you fire it up. Don't worry, we're good. It wasn't even plugged in yet. All right, coming for you, you stupid black lines, you. Okay, let's see how well this cuts, if it does at all. That's yucky. All right, this is not the tool for it, but I'm committed now, so give me a second. Ugh. All right, well, unfortunately, I completely overestimated what the Dremel would be capable of. It is not going to be able to get through this wood, and it's just burning it and making it stink in here. So now, some pilot holes and a return of the jigsaw. Let's get it. All right, well, there's our first pass at this hole. Looks atrocious. It is what it is. I don't know if this is going to fit. Hey, it will. Very cool. So it's not perfect. We'll do what we can to clean it up. It's definitely a little large, but alien tape on the inside, and we should be good to go, more or less. All right, so got a little bit of alien tape on the edges of the monitor. It's making it a little bit more difficult to get in there, but once it sets in, we should be good to go. Now, obviously, the alien tape being in there is going to make this a little bit more difficult to take out in the future if I need to, but it should hold it in there nice and steady. So now I'm just going to come around to the back of this thing, find that bundle of wire. I got it all organized with a zip tie, so we should be good. And hit it like this. Hi-ya. There you go. And now we got power. So now, before we can set this thing, we got to get Lucky's battery tippy-topped up. So I'm going to do that, but there you go. A very appropriate good ship Lucky install of a battery monitor. Don't mind me just hanging out on the floor of my tiny home on wheels, trying to figure out the settings for the, it should be the same as the last one, but it's been a hot minute since I've had it. Because you can go into the settings, you can set the capacity, and this, that, and the other thing. Here we go. Okay, so it says press and hold the sun symbol with the arrow going to the left to enter the settings interface to set up the below two parameters, capacity and the resting voltage of the fully charged battery. Oh, resting voltage? I don't know what a resting voltage is, but press this button. We gotta hold it, press it, hold. Ah, there we go. So this is the main screen. It's flashing right now because it's charging from the solar panel, right? It can sense that the batteries have voltage coming in. You hold this button down here, and this will take you to the capacity. Now, I need this one. So I need to go this, and I'm gonna put this at 300 amp hours because that's what I currently have right now. Okay, oh, and then we go down to full voltage, 0 voltage, and power off. So you can set all of those parameters as well. I'm not really gonna worry about that just yet. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more reading, but I do know that I needed it to be at 300 amp hours. So we can go back over here. And then I'm pretty sure if this is just like my old monitor, you simply hold the up arrow to set it at full. Yeah, so that's the same. So that's how I would do it once my battery is topped up. I'll have to come back here and do that again. I can actually set it to 0, I think, too, if I hold down. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that for now, and we can go for a little bit of a rip in the good ship Lucky and see if we can get her house batteries to stop charging. Also, if anybody's watching this and like, oh, they really wanted to get this, but they couldn't keep up with the instructions that I was giving and whatnot, don't worry about that, because the manual that it comes with has a lot of step-by-step instructions on how to set the whole thing up. Your shunt and your whole power system and where everything should go. It's actually a really handy little manual. One of the better ones that I've seen. Oh, one more really cool thing before we go that I just noticed. That I don't think I could do on my old battery monitor, but if you're just on the main screen here and you use the up and down arrows, you can actually change the brightness of the screen. I love that because I'm pretty sure on my old one, I couldn't do that, and if it was charging at night, that screen was always flashing. Actually, maybe I could turn it off or on, but never different levels of dimness. That's kind of cool. All right, that is pretty much full to me. It now says we are pulling only 59 watts. Both are at 14 volts, both the house battery and the starter battery, which is Lucky's engine battery. So make sure the good ship Lucky is in park. I'm gonna scoot back here, past the cute big fat pussy, and come back here. And now we will go nice and close, and we will put that at full, and we're gonna call that a dunzo. I am noticing right away, or I noticed earlier too, that this right here in the bottom right corner is the wattage that is coming in. And as soon as you start to use more, I think the number changes. That's nowhere near what I'm seeing on my Renogy app. So I don't know where the loss of communication is happening, but it's happening somewhere. Anyway, I now have this to monitor my comings and goings of Lucky's power. Very cool. Oh, and back down in my neck of the woods. Oh, it feels good to be done that. Hey, Penny, you feel happy that we're done it? I don't think she gives a tiny rat's ass. But I am very happy to be done it. And it's not, you know what sucks? Just a bit of a big pro tip. If you're going to do something like this with one of these particular monitors, it does have an awkward viewing angle. So when you're above, if you're just at the right level, you can't really see it. So mounting it that low for someone like me probably wasn't the smartest decision. But like I said, I got future plans for Lucky, and that's the most permanent fixture and place for it to be. And I'm just glad to have it. I mean, all you need to do is it's just to reference and glance down and see what my power levels are at. Obviously, you can live without a battery monitor. I have been just fine. But when I start thinking about things like getting rid of the EcoFlow as a power source and just using Lucky's house power to do everything, right? Like power the microwave, power my TV, power my power tools when I need them, or whatever, right? It's at that point when you start asking that much from your system that I personally think a monitor like that is definitely going to come in handy. Right, Penny? Yo, you're such a cute kitty. Because then you just know, right? And I want to add another battery to my system. I want to make that system bigger. I want to have more amp hours, and I want to just be able to run everything off of the house battery. So this is just another step in getting me towards that goal of the good ship Lucky, eh? Yes. And what do you say? Should we leave this one here? It's getting late in the afternoon. We're going to have to go get the Pirate Princess very soon. And the weather is nice enough that we should be able to hit a skate park, which will be the first time this year that we'll be able to do that. Hence why I'm sure you saw in a few shots, we picked up this very subtle new bike helmet for her. And I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. We're going to leave this one here, and until the next one, just go out there, be happy, be creative, be yourselves. Most importantly, be positive. Remember, only dead fish go with the flow.